right, good to have you back. Some movement, though, on the National Results Centre board. 64% of votes have now been filled and tallied so far. So we'll get some analysis on those election results coming in, as well as looking at, parts of eThekwini, as well as part of Pretoria. Jan-Jan Joubert joins me now, and looking at, of course, the capital city of Tshwane first. Quite an interesting one if we look at that. Jan-Jan, it seems the DA, the ANC and the EFF leading there in Tshwane.
Well, each in their own areas. So it's time to have some fun with numbers and places.
Yeah.
Now, that's what we're going to do. So everybody who knows Tshwane, the city of Pretoria and all the surrounding areas, knows that there are parts to it. So to the south you have Centurion. To the east you have areas like Waterkloof and those areas, and Mamelodi right next door. Okay? You have to the west Atteridgeville. And those are different areas with different people living there. So to understand the results, we're going to look how they are voting, and we're going to start in Ward 41.
Right.
Ward 41 is to the east of the city. If you go on the N4 towards eMalahleni, and you are just past that place where it connects with the N1, then you get to your left-hand side, Meyers Park. That is the area where the Watermeyer turnoff is, right? Now that area is Ward 41, and in that area the DA is on 60%, the Freedom Front on 13%, the ANC on 8%, and Action SA on 7%. Now that used to be DA by 85%. Right. So that means the DA has lost votes to Action SA and to the Freedom Front. Now you go right next door, now Marpius Township. Now, Marpius Township, ANC 56, EFF 21, Action SA 9. Now we're beginning to see a pattern. Yeah. This used to be a completely ANC area. The EFF is eating into the ANC. Action SA, 7% in the wealthy, predominantly white area, 9% in now Marpius Township. It's the strangest thing I have ever seen in years. Wherever I go in Tshwane, the Action SA vote is on 9%. Action SA has equal support. We know that many results are outstanding, but on those results that are in, amongst all population groups.
So that should be an interesting one. And also looking at the voter behavior there in these local government elections, the DA dropping in some wards and the ANC as well. What is it saying? Because when you look at some of the complaints from residents over the years, and you would agree, water, infrastructure, corruption, they have been top of agenda in terms of those complaints. They're finally using their vote to make their voices heard.
Exactly. Also, it's like an iceberg. Those are the parts that are above the water. Below the water is us as South Africans. Do we want to develop in a situation where we are fracturing into different areas, or are we working for reconciliation? This Action SA vote in Tshwane looks to me like a vote for reconciliation.
It's interesting to look at. Let's move on now to eThekwini there within KZN. How's that region looking?
Right. eThekwini is Durban. And it's everything from Cato Ridge in the west down to Umgababa in the south, and in the north it stops just before Belita. Right. That's the area. Right. Now, if we look at it, we can look at Action SA again. We heard earlier today they are making inroads in KwaZulu-Natal. Now, KwaZulu-Natal is a wide concept where they are picking up votes. I'm just looking at Ward 10. This is DA Heartland. It is Kloof area, wealthy area. Just up, as you go up Fields Hill, if you watch the Comrades Marathon, up Fields Hill from Pinetown, you find the truly leafy suburb of Kloof. Now, what's happening there? That used to be a 92%, I think, DA ward. I might be out by a percentage or two. They're down to 80. Action SA second, 12 votes, or 12% of the vote. ANC couldn't grow. They remain on 3%. What is this? These are wealthy white, Indian and black voters. The suburb is integrating, saying perhaps that the DA, in its efforts to woo back voters it's losing to the Freedom Front, alienating those voters to the centre-left, the more progressive voters. So now we go into the townships, into Ntozuma, in the north. In fact, right next to Phoenix, which we've talked about. Ntozuma used to be ANC Heartland. ANC, 51%. EFF, 22%. IFP, 14%. Both the EFF and the IFP are eating into the ANC support, to your point. ANC, not enough service delivery. Now perhaps your more traditional voter or your more conservative voter there says, no, I'll go for the IFP. I know it from the Homeland days. Or even, I'm inspired by its new leader, or perhaps its national spokesperson, Koleko Slengwa, who's barely 30 years old. Your perhaps more antagonistic, angry person and frustrated person, for every right reason, decides, no, I'm going to go EFF. And that's why we're going to have fun today with these numbers.
When you break it down, that's when you get to understand,
exactly,
you know, the reasons why they voted that way. But also, I have to give credit to the ANC before I wrap it up. You know, they were actually having a conversation saying the infighting within the ANC equally cost them votes. We've seen with the political killings, we've seen with the infighting. It seems acknowledging that. Briefly, please.
Quite right. So the ANC, yet again, also must become the party of reconciliation if it wants to grow, inwardly and outwardly. People in South Africa know we can only go forward together.
All right, we'll leave it there, Jan-Jan. Thank you so much for speaking to me at this point. So.